This is The Last Picture Show with Rahim Khan, and I am reviewing The Age of Disclosure. This isn't a merchant ivory pick, The Age of Innocence and Love in the Time of Cholera. This is actually a documentary about UFOs, or UAPs as we now call them. And the US government almost coming to the point of disclosure, of actually confirming, finally, officially, that yes, we are not alone. This documentary is a really interesting one, and there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, whenever, there have been documentaries or like tell-alls, exposés on aliens, it's always taken with a tablespoon of salt. Because again, one is always led to believe that sort of the people who are saying that, yes, I was abducted, yes, I was anally probed, I was experimented on, or sort of Roswell, Area 51, all of that stuff. You're wary of it. You're sort of questioning the veracity of it. You have been led to believe, and that's an interesting point, led to believe that sort of all of these people are kooks, they're off their meds, and do not take a word they are saying seriously. But what is so telling about, what is so, I think, perhaps good about this documentary is that this very sort of thinking, this line of thought, this belief that sort of anyone who says it, that, I have seen, witnessed, or had an alien encounter, all of this is just a part of perhaps one of the greatest disinformation campaigns in history. And sort of all of the people in this documentary go at lengths to say that in the media, in sort of like, sort of Hollywood, in sort of fiction, non-fiction, sort of this idea has been put out there that yes, they do not exist, and anyone who does say it, they do exist, are again sort of like, meant to be in the loony bin. And they've been so successful at it that now it's sort of almost ingrained. It is sort of an instinctual response on our part that we immediately dismiss them. But that's, I think, the greatness perhaps of the disinformation campaign. And that's only a small part that lends to the credibility of this movie. Another, which I think is just amazing for a movie like this, is access. The sheer number of former and serving government employees, experts that this documentary calls upon is not only staggering. I think it's almost around 35 people, but it is beyond impressive because they go as far as Secretary of State Marco Rubio. That is like, normally, when you call upon sort of experts, like talking heads in documentaries, at best you get like 10 or 12, like a dozen at the most. And you always are left a little wanting, because the thing is that, because again, you understand, for budgetary reasons, scheduling reasons, so many sort of factors that contribute to it. You can't get everyone that, is relevant to that topic. You can't get them all in one place and just record. It's a daunting task. But in this movie, I don't know how they've done this. It's almost like, here's a conspiracy for you guys. It's almost like the US government is behind this documentary. I'm not joking. Okay, so Marco Rubio, you have from both sides, Republicans and Democrats. You've got congressmen and senators. You've got people who have worked sort of in the military, what's it called, as well as scientists who were working on that task force that is largely featured in this. I mean, there are so many people in this, and none of these, it's not like sort of, oh, I was going to say Dog the Bounty Hunter, but I was going to say like, XYZ, the alien chaser or something like that. It's none of these people who even remotely can be, I mean, their credibility can be questioned. All of these people come with bona fides. I mean, all of these people are legit. So I am amazed how they were able to put this together, which again leads me to this possibility even that somehow the US government was responsible for putting this together. So very quickly, cinema, stream it or skip it. I doubt very much this was released in the cinema. It's released online, most definitely. If it is if you're into this kind of stuff, and even if you're not, because this is where, sorry, let me complete that sentence. Definitely stream it. Even if you're not interested in the subject matter, I think that it is essential viewing because everyone involved in this documentary lends such credibility that I think that now, aside from Trump walking down that sort of carpet in the White House to the podium to say, yes, they exist, this documentary, not to say that there has not been tons of evidence before, but this documentary, if you want it in sort of one place, this documentary is confirmation that yes, aliens or sort of extra-dimensional or sort of beings from, when I say extra-dimensional, that maybe they're from another dimension, or they're from another, sort of they are an alien species, or they're time travelers or something like that, whatever. Yes, they exist. Number one. Number two, they are an intelligent, highly advanced race, because all of the evidence that has been at least released to the public, or at least those witnesses in this documentary testify to, say that nothing that we have at present, and by we I mean sort of America, because this is an American documentary, nothing that we have at the moment can even begin to come close to this sort of bleeding edge technology that is sort of seen being used by these UAPs. It's just, and wait a second, sorry, there's just so much to say. And on top of that, there are people in this documentary who have said that, of course, without being able to reveal any details, because again, I mean, sort of National Secrets Act and all of that stuff, that they are bound to by, sort of law. Either they have said that they have themselves seen a UAP, or they have themselves seen a biological. That was just, I just don't know what to say. I mean, I think you can tell by the sheer excitement in my voice. I mean, when watching this documentary, that again, these are people who have either seen or interacted with extraterrestrial technology, or have seen extraterrestrials themselves, or interacted with them. And they even go on to say that there have been numerous occasions around the world, and that, for example, Russia and China both have interacted, like they have their own sort of alien hunters as well, that around the world these phenomena are happening. So short of, again, as I said, Trump coming on screen and saying, my fellow Americans, we are not alone. This documentary is confirmation of it. That is exactly why you should watch this movie, watch this documentary. Because I don't think that you're ever going to come across a film or documentary or news piece that is ever going to so neatly put together the argument, and most importantly, put together the people who have dedicated their lives to the study, to the research of UAPs and sort of extraterrestrials. And then again, the icing on the cake, people who have actually interacted with either technology or biologicals or biologics. You get what I'm trying to say, like the craft or the aliens themselves. Nothing else is going to come close. So this documentary kind of blows doors open and wide open. And now it's just, I guess, a countdown to when we actually see the headlines say that, yes, we are not alone.